After over 25 years of marriage, we've learned that successful couples have great friendships, put each other first, and focus on light just as much as love. We believe marriage should be fun and easy.
Our goal is to share our journey with the hopes of helping others build strong, happy relationships. Join us as we continue to create our lives beyond I do.
Do you and your partner want to learn simple ways to grow closer?
Do you and your partner want to grow happier together?
Do you and your partner want to be a unified front?
Do you and your partner want to divorce-proof your marriage?
If you answer yes to these questions, you need to check out our book, Unlocking Forever, 10 Keys to a Successful Marriage Beyond I Do.
Each section focuses on a different aspect of marriage and briefly describes how we handled it in our relationship. At the end of the section, you're given an action step or key to complete with your partner.
These keys are practical steps you can immediately implement in your relationship and help you and your partner be proactive and intentional about your relationship.
You can purchase your copy on Amazon.com.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all. We are not marriage counselors, nor are we mental health professionals. We're just simply sharing y'all how we navigated through our marriage. Now, on with the show.
Welcome back to the Beyond I Do podcast. We have a special guest with us, joining us from Indianapolis by way of Trinidad, is Michelle Bailey, also known as the Well-being Queen.
All right.
And she helps middle-aged women improve their well-being through 360-degree coaching. So welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. And as a newly middle-aged, official middle-aged woman, I look forward to our interview and for learning some things to help me as I move through this transition of life. Thank you.
How new is that?
It's one day. I turned 50 yesterday.
It's what? It might be that you've been in the middle age area and you don't even know it.
Right. You're right. You're right. We could have been blaming that on my attitude. We could have been blaming it on my attitude, and who knows, may have been hormones.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. And if you would, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your journey, and a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on your podcast today. It is an honor to be able to speak to your audience, and it's a privilege to share who I am and my journey in this field of well-being. I am Michelle Bailey, and yes, I am from Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. Been here about 11 years now. Still do not like the weather, but I am still here. God has a purpose for me, so I'm still here. I am your well-being queen, and you might ask yourself, what is she talking about? If you are looking to regain your fountain of youth, ladies, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, I have something special for you. And it's individualistic. So,
all right,
360 well-being coaching is all what I do. I am trying to get the whole you to become the well you through looking at functional nutrition, functional movement or physical activity, looking at mindset building, all in a community of like-minded women to help us move forward. Why I say we? Because I'm in that era. I am middle age as well. I may not look it, but I am in my middle age. And I've been an athlete since 2002. in the bodybuilding field. I've been lifting weights since I was 16. I started working out when I was 11. And all the time, I saw it fit to try to change what was going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was born out of more so trying to stay healthy from, and also not being sick with endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that kind of propelled me to always wanting to be better in whatever field I got into. So for instance, I started working out because it just didn't feel right in my pre-menopause stage. So when we talk about peri-menopause, and we'll get a little bit into that later on, that's middle age. And I am a middle-aged lady, but we all ladies go through different stages of the menopause cycle. And the pre-menopause is when you're in the reproductive years, just started your period, and you have, normally it's easy for most people.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a medical issue, aka hormone imbalance, you have problems. And I've had one of those problems of endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, early in the stage, I did not like being a lady. And I had to figure out, how can I live through this and still feel and look good? I got into working out, I started lifting, and I decided I'm never going to stop because it helped me to be able to battle what I was going through. But some ladies, when they reach the perimenopause, that's when their issues start. If they had a real smooth sailing pre-menopausal life, when we reach in perimenopause, where you see some people lose their hair, some people may even have the mood swings that we were talking about earlier on. When these things start to happen, it seems like, okay, what's going on here? Why is all these things happening? And they realize that something is wrong, but they can't pinpoint it. And you may not be able to pinpoint it because there are a mirage of things that can be occurring because of hormone imbalance. When you reach that stage, there are things that you need to do to help yourself.
Right.
To live better. And that is my lifestyle. I've been into that phase and have been through different stages within that phase, because I was still lifting, still an athlete, doing bodybuilding on stage, trying to get a certain way. So for me, dieting and exercising was a lifestyle. But now at this stage, after having a particular surgery, it kind of propelled me into having the various symptoms just happening or snowballing on me in one after the other. And I realized something had to change. So my background in being with endometriosis all my life, that kind of taught me that I needed to reset, look at what's going on, go back into my knowledge base, learn even more things. I got into functional nutrition, which helped a whole lot in me being able to decipher what was going on with me. When you learn things, you want to share things. So that's how I got into being functional well-being queen. So we take into consideration all the things that had happened before and then run with it, trying to teach others how you could change yourself similarly. It may not be the same symptoms or issues that I may have with than another lady, but we could figure it out.
Right.
So it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's not just talking about protocols. It's
Right.
learning who you are and understanding what's going on with you. And if you realize, for my own self, I had different stages. Guess what? You as another lady will have different stages in your life cycle too.
Right.
So it's learning the individual and being able to help this individual in different modalities, in different ways, when we're looking at nutrition, when we're looking at levels of physical activity, whether we're looking at triggers, what may have caused certain things to be happening. And just, learning about yourself and being able to help yourself. So that's where well-being comes in for me. All about well-being.
And you've used the term functional nutrition and functional well-being.
Mhm.
So what does that functional mean at the beginning?
Right. So when you think of function,
Mhm.
it has to do with something that can be workable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we can have a nutritionist, and a nutritionist will learn and teach you all about your macros, how much food you should be eating, what types of food you should be eating. They could alert to you, for example, what can cause diabetes, things that you should veer away from. But when I start to talk about functional, it is looking at you as an individual
Mm-hmm.
and looking at what is going on with you holistically. And this holistical is, for example, not just yourself, but what happened to your mother.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
What has happened to you if you've had any traumas?
Mm-hmm.
How early was your menstrual? Were you even a C-section birth versus a vaginal birth? All these things.
Mm-hmm.
How much stress you're under in your workplace?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Worrying about finances.
Right.
Your environment. Am I in an environment where there is always smoke in the environment?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All these things affect you. Now we have to look at, okay, for example, nutrition. How can I help this person with a example of what they should be eating to help them relieve themselves functionally? So it should be working for me. So I always say something like this: all healthy foods are not healthy foods for everyone.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's what's going on with you. And for example, both of you, it differs. For
Right.
example, male versus female,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
how you deal with stress versus how your husband deal with stress.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies have a tendency to deal with stress. They go out with the other ladies. Or they pray, or they find themselves a way of doing certain things, versus a male might decide, I ain't talking to nobody.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to figure this out myself.
Right.
All
And and half of the times males keep it inward and
Right.
the bus.
Right. Right.
Or they a lot of men, there are a lot of statistics showing within the last 20 years, for example, a lot of men are dying in their sleep, getting strokes because of high stress levels.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they have nobody to talk to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
sometimes it's this persona of being macho. We say that back home, or you don't, because I'm a man. I'm not gonna
Right.
talk about this. But mental health is a thing for both men and women. And we need to be able to understand that this can affect us in different ways.
Right.
So when we say functional, how am I going to do something to help you work with you? And it's going to work with you throughout a time frame, because it might work now at 50, but it mightn't work the same at 60, because our
Right.
bodies are changing.
Right.
That's when I say functional, that's what I mean by functional. It
Right.
must work for you at that point in time. It's just like if I tell you, go do some blood work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Your blood work is for that particular day and point in time.
Right.
Right.
It is not the same 2 weeks after,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
especially if you was working on it for 2 weeks.
Right.
It not
Right.
be the same, right? So it's learning about who you are, what's going on with you, and being able to correlate that to what I should be doing to help me get better and stay healthy
Right.
in the long term.
And then the other part of that with the working out and the being active, I'm guessing that's just as individualized as the
Yes.
nutrition.
Yeah.
Correct. So for someone who's diabetic, their protocol of training, for instance, is different than someone who doesn't have any medical issues. Somebody who has fatty liver syndrome, they have issues that actually most women who in peri-menopause and menopause might have, like the adipose fat around their stomach. So all of a sudden we have bloating all the time. So their protocol of how to train is different than somebody who doesn't have that problem. Someone who never worked out before, their workout is going to be totally different than someone who has been active all their life. Say, for example, if for you, for example, were you active during school? Were you in sports or anything? Any one of you?
I was in marching band.
Okay.
That was about as active as I was going to get.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
football, basketball,
Okay.
elementary, middle school years,
Yeah.
high school. That's when my regular activity, well, my schooling activity, but I did do stuff, at home.
Good. Right. So, for instance, for both of you, if I say I want to help you out with some physical activity to guide you throughout, and we're doing squats, push-ups, and pull-ups.
Right.
Yeah, you're laughing, right? Like, who say I'm going to be doing that? And when? And how?
I can squat.
So we could modify it. So to make it functional for you, my dear, I would tell you stand up and sit down from a chair.
Okay.
Versus for you, sir, young dear sir, I will make you squat. I will make you go down.
I got to do the hard work.
Yes.
I can sit up from a chair too.
I can make it harder if you sit up from a chair. I will get weight. And I might make you use the weight and bring it up above your head. Right?
Right.
Same thing with a push-up, for instance. My dear, if you have not done a push-up in years, I would not put you on the ground to give me a full military push-up. I would not do you that.
Right.
All right, Margaret.
Disappointed.
Correct. Versus the wall right behind you, Margaret.
Right.
You can do a push-up off of the wall.
Right.
Byron, sir.
Yes.
You hit the floor. And I will make it hard.
That's wrong with society today. Everybody looking at the man trying to make him work hard. And that's why
okay. So for example, Byron, this is for example, if it is, did you ever had any injuries with your arms, legs, any injuries? No, just sprains if you ever had a sprain or anything like that.
Sprains,
okay. All right, no knee problem or anything. But if you did have, for example, wrists broken at some point,
right,
the way I give you a push-up might be different.
Right. Okay.
But I will still make it challenging for you.
Right.
So it's knowing what's going on with the person. So we come right back to that. You must assess the individual, know what's going on with them before you can give them something to do.
Right.
So I'm making it functional and workable for the individual. Right. And that brings us to the point of well-being, because when you look at it, it's how can this person feel better inside out? Because it's not just about the outside. How can this person feel better from the inside out? And then now they could exude that feeling and that mindfulness and that mindset to someone else, so that they too can enjoy having an enhanced well-being. And well-being is not just about the physical. It's about the social, how we come together doing this, and the mental. For somebody to even decide, because when I said, okay, push-ups, squats, pull-ups, I saw your facial expression change one time, like, I don't know what she's talking about. So the way I battled that was I gave you the alternatives in terms of what would be the modifications. The face relax a little bit, so your mindset change.
Yeah.
That's why I talk about mindset as well. It's learning what is right for you. And most of the times we always come with one kind of consideration. We have one type of thinking unless somebody influences otherwise. And the only way we could influence somebody is by teaching what you know. Right? So that is what I try to relate to my clients, to anybody that I meet. When you look at well-being, it's learning about the whole you, and being able to help the whole you. And it's not only just about physical or social well-being or mental well-being, it's also relating to others. So I also like to encourage people to come together, for instance, in retreats, for example. We get to learn each other, learn what's going on with us. Yes, we're talking online, but, come together as a people, learn even more, say, for example, about emotional well-being. We, get the people in to talk about spiritual and emotional well-being, because it all ties into who you are and who you would want to be with everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
When your clients come to you, do you set is there a set amount of time and then you check in to see where they are? Because I know for me, like you said, you list the things and I'm like, no, thank you. But then with modifications, okay, I know I can do that, but eventually I will get to the regular and then I can do more. So is there like a time frame and then you come together?
So I do have an online business, but I also work as a personal trainer doing one-on-one with persons. So it's really interesting when I have persons in front of me versus online.
Okay.
And it's a trusting thing because, again, it's up to the individual. Whether it's the person in front of me or online, it's really up to you to make the choice.
Right.
Now, if you're paying me money, I hope you make the choice.
Right.
But some people will pay the money and still be, deterring. They don't want to do this.
Right.
And you
We're not
really
gonna
have
judge
to
those people.
convince me. Yeah.
Because I might be those people sometime. We're not gonna judge them.
Well,
We
I
have
would
good
think that,
intentions, though.
I would think that, now as long as you're not like, hey, look here, give me 50 more. I know you got 50 more in you, I'm like, look,
I don't know.
Michelle,
Well, I mightn't ask for 50. I might ask for 3.
yes, for 3, okay. As long
There
as
was a moment where you seemed to slip into that mode. And I don't know if I would want to be in person. You
Well,
slipped into it a minute ago, and
I did, didn't I?
I'm sweaty myself. I don't know.
I can see her now get close to the screen. Look here.
Right.
3, 4, 5 more.
I
Now.
can see you still.
I can see you still. I always say to my in-person clients, so for example, I might be at the gym and I'm training about 4 different people, and they will be like, how is she even see me do that? I'm like, I can see you. I know what you are doing. But seriously, what I try to do is my first encounter with my online or in-person clients, I try to talk about mindset and relate to that first, because I don't want to force anybody into doing anything.
Right.
So I try to relay, this is being mindful why you're doing what you're doing. Right? Somebody might say, well, I just come to the gym because I need to lose weight. Versus somebody else might say, I come to the gym because I have diabetes. So finding out what is the real root problem for someone is always good. And if they don't even realize what it is, I try to bring that out first.
Right.
So that we go back to that. So even though the goal might be, I want to lose 10 pounds, is it really that we just need to lose 10 pounds? Or rather, I want to be a healthier person and the outcome will be losing 10 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
And I have something against scales for all my life, being a bodybuilder, being on the scale, but also knowing that that is not the only way to measure my performance.
Right.
Yeah.
So changing the mindset again, because a lot of people will run to the scale. And you want to change that mindset that this is not what we're using as a measurement. I would use a measurement such as circumferences. I may use a measurement of your mood. I have a tracker. Mood. When you poop, people will be like, why are you looking at my stool? It helps me understand what's going on with you inside as well as outside. And just all wrong symptoms. So I have, I brought this out. I have like a 20-page you could see it.
Uh-oh.
You can't. It's my green screen. But I have like a 20-page client intake form. And
Okay.
it's everything I'm asking you. I'm asking you from your birth to now. What's going on with you? What your parents have? Your health history? What are some of your triggers from before? What I'm asking you everything. So that now informs me. How can I look at helping? What action plan can I create for this individual?
Wow.
And sometimes it might be less of gym workout, but rather more so a mindset shift.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Or learning about your environment and learning about different things you can use to help you if you have high stress levels.
Right.
Because yes, exercise does help with stress,
Right.
but also deep breathing does.
Yes.
And if you don't have the time to come to the gym to do the workout, I'd rather you go deep breathe to get rid of some stress.
Right.
Right. Right. Yes.
Right? So it's learning about the individual, learning about the environment, learning about all the different things that affect this individual, because it's a package. It's the person is an individual, yes, but they have a whole host of different things that affect them, why they're at this state right now.
Right.
Learning what that is helps a lot to be able to decide, okay, what type of programming I give somebody, the level at which I would give that individual,
Right.
when to change it. So I may have online, I have a 6-week program, for instance, and persons might say, I did not do half the exercises on here. It was too hard for me. Michelle, you crazy to be giving me all these squats. I get it. But what I try to do is modify it.
Right.
Because when you give me the intake form information, now I can know, okay, I know I cannot give this person all these burpees. So I switch the program up.
Right.
Okay.
Right? But eventually we will get there. We will get to the point where you're going to be doing all these squats because you would have progressively gotten better.
I don't get to keep
So
using
you have to
the
look
chair.
forward to it. You have to look forward to it.
I don't get to keep using the chair. Okay.
Okay.
We can use a chair, but we just modify it even more and make it a little harder.
Yeah.
A little harder.
And the more you speak, the more I realize why you are the well-being queen and not just a nutritionist or a personal trainer, because there's so much that goes into it.
Yes, it is. It's a multifaceted type of training. I call it a lifestyle practitioner because it's looking at your lifestyle, but also looking at how to functionally help you, the individual, in your lifestyle to be better. So, for example, right now we have a cleanse going on. It's a 5 to 10 day cleanse, and I tell you the the head nods I get, the Michelle, you gotta be crazy. The what's wrong with you? We're not eating enough food. Versus by the 3rd day, oh, I quit. Versus by the 5th day, this actually worked really good, Michelle. I was like, oh, okay. And you wanted to quit now? Again, I could suggest it, but it's all up to the individual.
Right.
It's always up to the individual to do what is necessary for them. And it's not like I'm hard and fast, I'm like not military or anything. Some people, if they can't make it through 3 days of the cleanse, that's okay. Don't feel bad. This is what your body could tolerate now. And that's just giving me more signs and understanding of what's going on with you inside. You may be having more issues than you think you do.
Right. Right.
Because sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
When I get people on a cleanse, it might be that it's more things going on with you and you didn't even know.
Right. Wow.
Right? But we get back into it. So I do my cleanse every quarter. So I bring the same people back on. I'm like, you got to do this cleanse. And when they do it, the 5 days, they're like, Michelle, this is the best thing I've ever done before. I could try the 10 days now. Go for it. It's you got to do it to feel the difference.
Right. Right. I'm one that I've done the roller coaster. I've tried every eating plan, be it a trademarked eating program or just at one point I stopped eating meat and just all types of things. But one of my issues was consistency or the lack of consistency. But each time I put better things in, I felt better.
Yes.
And I would love for that to be enough motivation. But for whatever reason, life gets in the way sometimes.
Yep.
But usually the summers, I try to reset everything and try to build habits so that coming into the school year, I'm good to go. And we'll see how that works this year.
Yep.
Well, listen, I can help you.
I'm a little scared. I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued because, like I said, everything, like you've talked about all of the pieces, and throughout the years, it's bits and pieces that I've taken and done. At one point, I was very active at the gym, working out, and I felt better, not just physically, but I felt the emotional and mental benefits from it. And so I know that that's something I need to start again, not just for the physical, but for the emotional and mental well-being also.
Yep.
So all of these things I'm hearing and I'm receiving. We're gonna see what I do with it.
Well, what I would say here is, say, for example, if you were a client of mine, what I would encourage you to do is not only look at it at this level, but look at it at a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
Because your body is a temple of God.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that is not to tell you it to fear you, to be in fear, but rather to tell you that you are the temple of God.
Right.
And if you're housing God in you, you want to have a good temple for Him.
Right.
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 And whatever we do, it adds up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a simple thing like you do 5 minutes of cardio intermittently throughout the day, and you do it 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. That's 25 minutes of cardio. The same thing applies. Whatever you do spiritually to help yourself, it helps everything else mentally.
Right.
Because your thoughts change. And now if your thoughts change and your mindset change, then you'll have a different framework going into the physical.
Right.
Right.
It's not that I'm just doing it for me, but I'm doing it because I am the temple of God.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? So it's a
Right.
different mindset. And it then applies to, okay, what do I eat and how do I eat? And there's one saying I always hear, when you learn something, you can't stop learning it because it's already there.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, now I learned, oh, I really shouldn't be eating so much meat.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I would say sometimes you do not need to eat meat. That's why I put people on a cleanse. The week we doing the cleanse, we're not eating meat.
Right.
Right? But I would not, I need you to decide that. I wouldn't force you to don't eat meat all the time.
Right.
You know, but if you're doing a cleanse, yes, we're not eating meat. For my cleanse time, we're not eating meat. But that time frame, you're giving your body a time to reset.
Right.
Yes.
If you allow for your body to reset again, the mindset changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how it all ties in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
So it ties in. If you look at it from that perspective versus a dogmatic way of doing things, it changes the need to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I like too that you're saying, it doesn't have to be these big changes all at once.
Yeah.
To start small. I struggle with that in many areas. And we were talking about that earlier. So I need that mindset needs to shift. And I see the value in those small changes. And building from that.
We're trying to reduce stress because now if we try to stress ourselves while saying I need to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, it ain't gonna happen. So now it already unrealistic.
Right.
So now you're stressing yourself out even more. So you're wasting time.
Right.
So you're causing more stress.
Mhm.
Versus if I say, I want to feel better, I want to reduce bloating, I want to be able to sleep good,
Right.
then I will go work out. Because
Right.
now my cortisol levels will reduce. That reduces bloating. Now I can go to sleep good in the night and sleep a restful night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's learning that don't look at the 10 pounds as the outcome. Just look
Right.
at the 10 pounds as a residual
Right.
towards
Yes.
fixing everything else.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense because I think a lot of times we focus on the results that we want, and results are the motivation, and not necessarily, okay, like you said, if I focus on sleeping better or I focus on, losing a few inches,
Feeling better.
the weight
Yeah.
coming down either way, but it's
Mhm.
just the focus. So I think what the problem that a lot of people have is when they fall off, it's hard to get back up because it's like,
Right.
man, I used to go to the gym 5 days a week, went on vacation,
Mhm.
and I can't even make it but one day,
Right.
And
Well, I just spoke with someone today with that situation. He said I was doing it real good, real hard, and 5 months, and now it's like I don't know what to do. And again, it goes right back to the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, as we said, if we only look at the results of losing weight, and I'm going hard, and I was feeling good then, and then we bring down ourselves because we're not there,
Yep.
then we would not step forward.
Right.
And it's just the same thing with each step, you get better, right? So if you make that mindset shift, that's a step right there. I want to go back to the gym,
Right.
or I want to eat better.
Right.
Then you have the other stage. How am I going to do this?
Mm.
Do I make this big leap and then say, oh, I'm going back to the gym hard 5 times? Or, I'm doing this diet and I'm doing this keto diet and I'm doing this. You might just set yourself back.
Right.
Versus if you do it progressively, like, okay, today I am going to take a walk.
Mm.
This week, I'm going to try to do as many different little activities I could do around my house, whether I'm gardening, when I'm going outside and walking with the kids, or walk the dog outside, or I just want to go in the park and sit. Sometimes just sitting down in nature alone can help you de-stress.
Yes.
It might seem really simple, but it works wonders. Some of the simpler things that now changes your mind and you feel more comfortable and more relaxed. Then you go to the other step of, okay, this next week, I am going to do a workout. I'm going to work out at least twice for the week. I am going to incorporate those functional movements of squats, push-ups, and pull-ups.
Yep.
Get it done. And all right, I'm going to do at least 2 sets of 10. And you just start right there.
Right.
Then we follow the next week or the 2 weeks later. You say, oh, I think I could do more than this now. Versus just trying to jump from, I wasn't going to the gym to going hard. You're going to fall off again.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. That's another issue of mine.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about me and baby steps, but I don't believe in them.
Hey, guess
Yeah.
what? As baby steps, the weight just come on too, eh? It doesn't look like that.
Right.
But as baby steps are coming on.
like that,
I
but
feel like it.
but that's something that, like I said, in every area of life that I need to work on. And I keep getting that same message in different forms for different things. So I hear it, I receive it.
Only thing is I've said it before.
I said it different
She didn't want to
places.
receive it when I said it. I was like, look, as long as you're doing a little bit.
One of the places.
As long as you're doing a little bit, that's better than nothing at all. She was like, that don't make sense to me. I'm telling you, a little bit is a day or two. You build yourself up.
I said, didn't I say different places? He was one of them.
She ready to go from straight off the couch to 5 miles.
Oh, by the time she reached half the mile, she realized,
Right.
I can't do that. I'm back home.
That ain't gonna happen.
And that now there have been there, and I guess because I used to smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes, and when I wanted to quit, I just quit.
Right.
So in my brain, I guess I'm trying to transfer that, but it doesn't work that way.
No.
Right. It doesn't work that way. So
Well, I thank God you did that, because I've known a lot of people who just quit and that's it. Thank God, because it's very hard to quit.
Right.
I know it's. I've never smoked before, but I know it's very hard to quit.
Right.
And struggle.
And I've done it more than once. So that's there again. I just feel like I should be able to do this. But I'm hearing, I'm receiving, and I know that things need to be done differently because I'm not pleased with the outcome. And
Well, I'm glad you're not pleased. So you're realizing that's the first step right there. You're realizing that something needs to change. So moving forward is learning that, okay, I tried so many different things before, it didn't work. I maybe need help.
Right.
So I would say this, being in the fitness field for most of my life, everybody out there, there's so much information out there. There is so much information out there. You learn so much from different people out there. You see so many different trainers, and there's everything. You could go on Instagram and you find a workout, but is it right for you?
Right.
You would find the diets, but is it right for you?
Right.
We have to come full circle back to what's going on with you, with your triggers, what's going on with you in your household, what's going on with you in your environment, what's going on with you internally with your organs, for instance, and realizing that, hey, I don't think I'm supposed to be doing rowing right now because I have a rotator cuff problem.
Right.
Or a past injury. You know what I mean? Or and I never really got that resolved.
Right.
So just use an example. So it's learning what's going on with you. You might need guidance there, and sometimes it's just might be a few things that you need guidance on. Because as I said, there's a lot of information out there, but you need to know what is right for you. You need to track what has been going on with you. Oh, I've been bloated this time of the month, I don't know what's going on. My mood swings at this time of the month. I'm craving this time of the month, but I'm not supposed to be seeing my period already in peri-menopause. What's going on? Or I'm having hot flashes going on right now. But if you don't track that, you can't fix that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
You understand? So it's the same concept with fitness, with anything, your nutrition, with life. You got to track it.
Right.
And just understanding, well, why it is these things are happening now and how can I get help for it. Most of the times, if we have a marital issue, right? If you have something is going on between you and Byron, when they say go get counseling, go to the pastor, they're there to help you. Now we could go Google and listen to all the coaches out there, which is good. You will get some good information, but then you need to figure out if you go to this pastor that you're trusting and you're sharing more personal information, then they will be able to help you and direct you. But and that doesn't mean the information you're learning from the coaches online on Instagram or Facebook saying anything bad, but what is specific to you. That's the difference. And a lot of people just think, well, okay, it's too much information out there for fitness. I could go just Google. And no, don't get me wrong, the belly teas and them, the people drinking, it working, it working and getting the belly down. But you come back to me next 10, 15 years and tell me what's going on with you inside. Do you have you been getting enough nutrition in you? Are you getting your micronutrients? Are you getting the right amount of vitamins? Are you getting the right amount of polyphenols? Why it is you all of a sudden have cancer? How come you have gastric problems right now? Why are you having IBS in your 50s and you never had it before?
Yeah.
But the tea worked to get the belly down.
Right.
Most of the times, again, we look at the outside, but we're not looking at what's going on inside.
Right.
I have nothing against the teas. As a matter of fact, we use teas in my cleanse, but I don't go there first. I need you to eat. If you're not eating, then you're not going to figure out what's going on with you.
Right.
Most of the times my clients that come to me in the gym, I'm like, you do not come to my training without eating because you will pass out. And every time I say it, every time I had somebody vomiting, pass out, stomach upset, because you're not eating.
Right.
If you can just eat first so we can know what's going on with you,
Yes.
then we could help you further on.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just really understanding yourself. It's the same thing, you know. And if you look at any aspect of life, is understanding you, what's going on with you in the environment in which you're in, so that now you can help yourself and help the ones around you.
Right.
Because if you're better and you're positive, obviously your partner, everybody else in the house would be positive, and we won't have stomping of feet and quarreling and
Right.
you know.
Right. Or we won't act up because we're hangry.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
starving ourselves.
Yeah. So it is a holistic approach that I try to use, and it's more so from even just learning for myself.
Right.
I've had coaches, they have taught me a lot as an athlete. I have been a bodybuilding athlete since 2002. Went to Arnold's. If you ever heard of Arnold Schwarzenegger, everybody knows Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he has a competition that normally we have amateur Arnold's, and I represented my country, placed fifth in my class, and once I won, twice I won in my class. It's a lifestyle. I couldn't win that if I didn't do a whole host of different things all the years coming up.
Right. Exactly.
That's
Given
awesome.
being and having endometriosis, always in pain, and knowing that my hormones was out the wazoo, going crazy.
Right.
Learning, I had to learn my body. I had to learn what was going on with me all these years. Even the big coaches out there that I was paying big bucks for, they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. So but it doesn't mean anything. I'm not discrediting the coaches, but you have to know what's going on with you to get help.
Right.
I took that time to figure that out. Most people wouldn't take that time. They might need the help to figure that out.
Right.
And that's why I'm stepping in. For most ladies, for example.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when, y'all, I'm not saying y'all women in a negative light, but when women are talking to their friends and their friend, girl, I took this product and girl, I lost such and such. Well, girl, we ain't do nothing for me. And then y'all, so I think that everybody thinks, well, if it helped her, I know it'll help me.
Right. Nope.
I'm not
that way.
I'm not as fat as her. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that'll be the thought process. And then when it doesn't work, it's like, well, where are my results? Why it didn't work for me?
Right.
Like I said, everything works for each individual in their right, but you have to know your body, you have to know your lifestyle, what you eat, you have to know how your rest pattern, all of that comes into play, and that makes a lot of sense now.
Right.
Yeah. So you could live, Margaret, you can live in peri-menopause without having problems. Guess what? This stage not going anywhere. That's just what it is. We have 4 stages of menopause. Peri-menopause is one of them. Menopause is one of them. That's just what it is. But it's learning how to live, balancing your life in this stage. And the balance requires not just about what you eat and how you exercise, but more of a holistic approach, your lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. The whole you becoming the well you.
I'm going to ask you another question before we wrap it up. But so for me, I had a hysterectomy in early 30s. My thinking had always been menopause. You'll know when you're in menopause because you don't have your period anymore. So for those of us who have had a hysterectomy early, what are some things that I need to look for to know that I've made it from peri-menopause and I'm moving into menopause?
Well, newsflash. You've already been there.
Okay, then. check. I'm done. I'm done.
So most women, when you have a hysterectomy,
Mhm.
they always put you on hormone pills, not so?
So they left, it's a partial hysterectomy.
Okay.
So I still have my my
Ovaries.
ovary, and I still, it produces hormones. So.
Yes. However, it's not working to full capacity.
Right.
Because you're not having a period, but you're
Right.
still having your cycle.
Right.
It's still
Right.
So technically you are probably in perimenopause, because if you still could feel that cycle, so now you have to think through it. If I'm still having the cycle, I'm technically in perimenopause. The only way one is in full menopause is 1 full year of not seeing your period.
Okay.
So now the concept of having a hysterectomy blurs that.
Right.
Because you're
Right.
not sure.
Right.
So what happens to some ladies, by the time they have the hysterectomy, months later, they're having hot flashes. Or they might have mood swings. For me, I was the total opposite. I have cold. I don't get hot flashes. I get cold flashes because I've been anemic. Being with endometriosis, I was anemic before, so I'm always cold.
Yeah.
I never see a hot flash in my life. So I wish I could. But everybody's symptoms vary,
Right.
and then time frame varies too. So that's why some people, if they've had a hysterectomy in their 30s, sometimes it brings on the onset of perimenopause phase. And it may last longer.
Okay.
So it's learning now, okay, while I'm living in this phase, and I may not know when I'm in menopause, because actually some ladies who are in menopause still have these different symptoms showing up.
Right.
Because it's a hormonal imbalance.
Right.
So learning how to control that hormone imbalance is what's important.
Okay.
Some people end up having thyroid problems. That's a hormone thing. Some people get diabetes all of a sudden. That's a hormone thing. Because the insulin levels. All right. Some people might always be bloated. It's a hormone thing because of estrogen levels, progesterone less. So it's just learning that, okay, I am in this stage. How can I help myself feel better during the stage? Because of the hysterectomy, you don't know when that stage is actually going to end to be in menopause.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. And there was someone else that we had spoken with, but I know now when I go get my annual checkup in July, I need to ask for blood work for all of my levels, for level everything.
Yeah, it does help because you
So.
want to make sure that if you know what's going on, periodically get the blood work, but sometimes you don't even need the blood work. A simple thing like knowing digestive issues. If you're having acid reflux. So this week, I'm going to start talking about gut health and perimenopause. So for instance, if it is you're always having acid reflux, you're always feeling bloated, you constipated, or the opposite, diarrhea. Most of the times, digestive issues show up during perimenopause. And knowing that there are certain foods that can interfere with the health of your gut, and knowing what is your non-negotiable, some of the things that you shouldn't be eating, helps for you to control that. Because if your gut is inflamed, if your stomach acids are going in different places where it shouldn't be, that is, so in your GI tract, each section has a certain pH level of acidity. So if it is in the stomach, suppose the most acidic area, but if above that, your esophagus, and you're always feeling heartburn, people call it heartburn, then that's a problem. Versus going down, if it is you're not digesting your food properly, so your liver is not being able to detoxify your body and strip away what is the necessary nutrients that you need. If your body cannot absorb the right nutrients, or it can't break down the right nutrients, then you're going to have gut issues as well. It might start to go upstream. So now if you have the wrong if you can't get the food to break down the right way, and it's passing through your lining of your small intestines, where that's where your food actually goes through the bloodstream. If it's not broken down in the right way, it's an invader. And your body is telling you, this is an invader. I don't think it should be in here. It's like on alert, and then it goes towards it. Think of if you get a cut. The first thing that happens to the cut is it swells up and turns red.
Yeah.
That's what's happening inside your body if the food hasn't broken down properly. So it's in the wrong component level in your bloodstream. Your blood, your T cells are attacking it because it's an invader. It's the wrong thing in your system. Hence the reason why most of the times one of the root cause of a lot of people's problem is some type of inflammatory disease. Whether it's autoimmune, think about it, rheumatoid arthritis, any type of arthritis, for instance, or they say that Alzheimer's, that's an inflammatory disease. It's autoimmune. All right. So it's learning that the organ's going to get attacked. If you're not getting nutrients, it's going to be deficient. So your organs cannot work. If the nutrients going in and it's the wrong broken down food is being attacked, inflammation is going to happen no matter what. So knowing that this is happening to your body, that then speaks to what's going on with you, whether you're in peri-menopause, menopause, whatever stage you're in.
Right.
All right. So it's being able to understand that what we put inside of us. So if it is you're having that issue, what do I eat to help that issue, to help quell the fire? In the same time, your lifestyle, you need to be physical, because physical activity helps detoxify your body too, because you're sweating. You're coming out of the skin. So it's just learning that they all work together to help you. And if you, whether you're in peri-menopause, menopause, post-menopause, knowing that you need to be balanced in your lifestyle helps you change what's going on inside out.
Okay.
Wow. So the blood work you needed, yes, it helps. It does help. But just how you feel, that's one of my trackers, your mood. What's going on today? And every day we're tracking for 30 days what's going on. And we do that all the time. We check your poop. The color of your poop can determine what's going on inside of you. The form of your poop could tell you what's going on inside of you. If you're deficient in certain things.
The lack of one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, lack of too.
Right.
Because then it's telling me that, oh, your colon is backed up. That means you have toxins inside of your body. So now you're creating more of a terrible environment inside to cause more problems for the other organs of your body.
Right.
So
a lot of work.
It's a lot of things put together.
Right.
But I tell people this to fear them. What I tell them this because it's not just giving somebody a protocol to do. Right. It's not just going on Instagram and doing what they say to do. You need to find out what's going on with you first.
Right.
The individualistic thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow, Michelle, you have just given us some great information.
Stepped on my toes a little bit, but it's okay.
Toes hurt. I'm a man and my toes
Gave him
hurt.
the opportunity to call me out. It's okay. I'm good.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well,
process.
I am happy to share information because it's important for us to know, yes, but it's also important for us to consider, how does this affect me?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And how can I help myself be better? Because you want to do something to help yourself to be better for the others around you.
Right. You're right.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
Telling me as I was coming up to 50, I struggled. And the closer I got, I was having little breakdowns. And he looked at me one day, because I've always told him, I said, we're going to live to be 100 and 101. We're going to ride out together.
Good.
Yeah, how are we going to get to 100 if you don't want to get past 50?
You're right.
Yeah, I get past it.
So, and I want the quality of life as well as the quantity. So I know that there are some changes that need to be made.
Yep.
Well, if you want that in your heart, then you start to think that.
Right. Right.
Right. And it's good that you guys talk about it, because now you could help her, Byron, encourage her, which you're doing. And you set the goal. You said 101. You're the one, Margaret, set the goal.
I
Just
did.
going along with you.
Right. Right.
That's right.
Right. So, and that means, taking control of what's going on with you.
Right.
And as you said, you did quit. You did quit. You took control of that, but you may need help to take control of the other parts. And that's okay. Sometimes we have to humble ourselves to get the goals that we want to attain.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wow,
All right.
That is powerful. So,
Well,
Michelle,
I'm so grateful.
Miss Wellness Queen, Well-being Queen.
Well-being.
I don't want to call
That's
you the
all
wrong thing. So, for our listeners, let me say this: you have given us a great amount of information that I needed. I need to hear everything you said, and so I know it's going to help me. For our listeners who are listening, how can they contact you if they want to get more information from you? Maybe set up a session, become a client. How can they get in contact with you?
Well, if you look behind me, you see that little yellow and green butterfly that says FXWB? You can go on Google or Apple Store and download my app.
Oh, okay.
You got an app.
So yeah, I have an app.
All right. That's a new one
You
for
can
us.
also find me on, so the same app, you can use the website information, I normally type it, HTTPS
Yes.
fxwb.passion.io. I think you should be able to see that behind me somewhere. You can also find me on Facebook as Functional Well-being by Michelle. That's my Facebook page. Instagram, it's at Functional Well-being LLC.
Okay. Yes.
And YouTube is also that, Functional Well-being LLC.
Awesome.
Yeah, on YouTube, every Monday. So if you want to check out this month, every Monday I have a workout. I do like a 10 to 15-minute workout in my kitchen, and I do a workout for everybody. You could do at home. So I try to share as much information with others so that they can learn about helping themselves to live better.
Well, thank you so much for
thank
joining
you so
us.
much.
Thank you for sharing information. Thank you for letting me know that baby steps are okay.
Yep.
And he said it, and now I can believe him.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Because
somebody else has to say
somebody else. That's right.
It's in cement.
That's right. That's right. We appreciate your time, though.
I appreciate my opportunity to be on your platform, and thank you so much for this opportunity to share how we can live better.
Anytime.
Baby steps do work.
Yes. I've got it now. I've heard it enough. I've got it now. And you know what? I'm going to have to keep you updated on my baby steps.
Well,
a little bit.
Well, this is the thing. Once I meet someone, I'm always connected with you now. So you might see me up in your DM trying to find out if you're doing okay.
And I definitely will need something good to tell you.
Pressure is on now.
Right. Yeah. It's on. No,
it's accountability.
I'm going to pull you into it too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Byron, you're not left out.
That's right. So thank you again. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beyond I Do podcast.
Please make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to our podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Beyond I Do podcast.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.